Hey, Jesse Reynolds, we're live.
We're live.
Well, yeah, we're not Facebook Live or anything.
I got you.
But we're recording. What's up, man?
How's it going, man?
So, we could go a number of different routes with this, Jesse. Let's see. You hear that cut out? There it is. Man, that cord keeps giving me some fits. What do you want to talk about tonight? You're a guitar player.
I am a guitar player.
Okay. Let's talk about these Taylor guitars.
Not fun.
You don't like them.
I'm getting out.
You're going to get rid of it.
I am. I went to Guitar Center yesterday on my day off, and I went in there and played around 3 or 4 different ones.
What'd you like?
I like the Martin.
Laminate top or like an old one?
No laminate top.
I like it.
My brother's got a D28. I'm not really a bluegrass picker anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, growing up, I was that's all we played was bluegrass, and I played a lot of banjo, and he played that D28. And then when I switched, I got me a Breed Love.
Ooh, I like a Breed Love.
Which I liked it, but I couldn't play. If we were in a venue somewhere, they couldn't even hear my guitar. Zach could be running that 28, and my guitar wasn't even in the same room.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what a 18, like a D18 with a pickup in it would sound like.
Should sound pretty good.
I don't know. Now Dave Gillum, you know, he's big time. He's got them fancy guitars, you know.
Well, he's handcrafted.
Yeah,
about like his muscles.
yeah. So he keeps pushing, you know, is the Yamaha, right? He plays Alvarez, Yamaha.
Yeah. Tell him to stick to them handcrafted electrics.
And so I played a 71 Yamaha with
his dad's?
No, at the music center yesterday.
I got one right over there.
Had the knobs on the front.
Okay.
And I played it, and
it was sweet.
It was cool. But I just don't know how it would sound
plugged in,
playing, you know, like we play.
Did you plug it in up there?
I did. It sounded kind of tingy.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to get away from.
Yeah.
I played that 414 Sunday. I don't know if it's. I
noticed you had another guitar, another Taylor up there.
Yeah, I got a 414. It's an old bar guitar. When I seen it on Facebook popped up, and it was $800, and I was like, I told Emily, I said that's like a $3,500 guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started reading the comment, and the guy was like, yeah, it's an old bar guitar. So I sent him the guy a message, and he's like, I've been playing the bar downtown Columbus, down by the college.
Okay.
And so we go to this old rundown bar and knock on the door. This guy comes out, and he's like, yeah, come on in. So we get up on the stage in there, and he hands it to me. It smells like weed. I mean, it's got
cigarettes and whiskey and
it's covered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dirty. It stinks. And but I plugged it right in, and it has more of that bassy sound, which I liked.
It's the wood, isn't it?
For $800, I was like, man, you can't beat this.
It's the difference in the woods of the 4 Series. 4 Series Taylors are the first ones that are American.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of them are Mexican.
Mine, the 214 that I have, is the one that I hate.
It's Mexico guitar.
Yeah,
right?
I have so much trouble with it.
Yeah, I had a lot of troubles with the Taylors until I got up in the models.
Right.
But I'm still glad
I've never broke a string on the 400.
Oh yeah, you broke them the week before, didn't
you? On the 200. It's probably every bi-weekly.
Yeah, you do. You've broke a few since I've been there.
Yeah, and
I ain't broke one in years.
Yeah, and I play hard. I mean,
Me too.
I'm more of a rhythm lead, rhythm player to keep focus on where I'm headed. And the more the song I get into, the harder I play.
Yeah.
And
unless you can
which
hear.
Is why Taylor Stepp don't like playing with me.
Yeah.
He's like, got about the click.
Yeah.
I just want to slap the guitar.
You got to feel it in your hand.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
And we went to the electric drum kit to make it easier. But I like when I played live, Ron Sowers, the Bearded Pup, shout out to the Bearded Pup. When I was playing live, I liked feeling the kick drum in my back. And I never needed a bass player. I mean, I like having bass players, but as long as you got that
downbeat,
kick, I could feel that kick in my back, I strum harder. The harder the song, the harder I strum. And I had that Breedlove, and I never broke a single string.
And couldn't hear it really, could you?
Yeah, and so it's like I just don't understand why. I mean, the guitars ain't cheap. I mean, I think I paid $1,900.
I was gonna say, yeah, a two
Probably.
series will run you a couple grand. I always figured $1,000 per series. The 100 series was in the 1,000 range. And
there was a guy at World Outreach years ago. What's his name? He let me play at 800 series. He had.
Who would that have been?
And,
Darren?
No, not Darren. I can't think of his name. He's an older guy. He's Paisley Speakman's Dunphy.
Oh, Dunphy.
Dunphy.
Yeah.
Is it Ron?
Ron
or Don?
Don.
One of them. And he let me play that, and that's a different world.
Yeah.
But I can't afford one of them. Emily could.
That's $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah, Emily could afford that.
Yeah.
I'm just a deputy sheriff, man.
I'm really glad that I made the move to Gibson. Obviously, I named my son Gibson. But
yeah.
I played those Taylors for so long, and I had a lot of troubles with the frets. I had a lot of troubles with the pickups in them. I was breaking strings all the time. I was like you, and finally I got the Gibson, and I don't know that I'll ever, unless I just come across the one that I got to have, now I feel like my guitar's complete. I don't need to buy anymore.
I've never really, I had a Les Paul years ago, but never acoustically, never.
Are you a big collector? Like, do you collect guitars? I don't, I guess.
switch back and forth from guns to guitars.
Okay.
So right now I'm more guns. I think I have 3 guitars.
Okay.
But I've been in situations where I've had
12,
5 or 6 or more guitars, and I had an old, it was a B25, a '60s model B25 Gibson, and it was more like I called it my Willie Nelson guitar. It was all beat up, looked like it had been dipped in lacquer, and I put a pickup in it, and I played it a lot, like the coffee shop gigs and stuff. I would play it, but playing live with the band, it's just. It just doesn't do.
You could borderline go electric.
I could if I could get myself the rhythm, the strumming pattern.
Just slow and if
I could get my right hand to play more like
pick.
electric.
Don't use pick.
But I like that full sounding rhythm electric guitar.
Yeah.
Telecaster type. I just never have. I don't really have the time that I should have to probably practice it, but I probably could get it. If I got the right setup, the right pedals, I could probably just go full electric.
Yeah.
Something about the acoustics though.
I always played acoustic. I played, there was a couple gigs I can remember. I played at a buddy of mine's Strat and played it the whole show. And it was cool. There's definitely, I would consider, other than your left hand, your right hand is a completely different instrument on an electric than it is acoustic, in my opinion.
I've never been able to
switch tone that down. Yeah, it's tough.
Playing too hard,
and it changes the tone of it,
and it makes it overbearing. I wish I could play smooth. And speaking of Darren Maple's in another band right now.
I saw he was at the golf course.
Him and Amos Harbor.
Is that who's in it?
Playing bass.
Okay.
The old Harbor family.
Yeah.
And I don't know the Payne boy, but lead singer Gavin Payne.
I don't know him either.
But yeah, they played at Club Vinton Saturday night, I think.
Man, I'm out.
Yeah, me too. I'm out.
I have no interest in going back into the bar world and playing. Yeah. I've had a few opportunities here as of late, and I just, and it's not that I think I'm too good for that. I'm just done with that. I just, that's a lot of work.
It is, and in order to be good, you got to play a lot
all the time,
and you got to have songs that meet everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And
who wants to go out and play? I'm at that point too. I don't want to get out there for 3 hours and play everybody else's songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm not cutting on guys that do. I'm just saying, man, I don't know. Right now I'm just taking a little breather from that. But a lot of guys do when they're in my situation, child wise. Whenever they got a child that's young, a lot of those guys take a break and then they go back. But yeah, it might be fun here in another 10 years once I'm an empty nester.
Yeah. Chip Allman and I had that conversation years ago about the bar scene. I remember him telling me, and we were playing, this was years ago, and we got playing some Jesus music.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, the only difference between playing at a bar and playing in a church is the type of song that you're singing. And I said, but the interaction with people, like people talk a lot about like, oh man, we're confident. We sing in the microphone and we're interacting with the crowd. It's the same thing I did when I wasn't playing in church.
I can tell at church that you've been a front man.
And you just play. And so I told Chip, I said, the only difference is I used to be singing for myself and playing for myself. And there was nothing better than having a guy like me on the front and seeing people's reaction when they finally find out that you can actually sing a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, oh man, this guy can, this guy can sing, this guy can play.
You see, they watch you walk up there and they're like, oh God.
Here we go again. Another ginger up here thinking he can play.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, there's nothing greater than getting up. And when I play now, it's for God. And the reaction that people have are for him and not me. And I can kind of take myself out of the equation, and I still get the same feeling in my spirit.
Satisfaction.
Yeah, it's like I'm helping them. Like when you're playing, an old country song, you're taking them on a journey. That's why I like Tyler Childers so much, because
His songs are all stories.
Every song is taking you from one place and taking you someplace else, and you kind of feel it and see it as it goes through the song. And
that's any song. I wouldn't say that's just Tyler Childers. I mean, it's
right.
That's about any song.
But I feel like he's a great storyteller.
I feel like he's modern day Willie.
Yeah, and so like for me, like I'm now down here at the church, I'm taking people on a journey, and I'm trying to get them to the end of the song. And so
who picks your songs down there at the church?
I do.
You pick them all?
Yeah.
So what are you going for whenever you do that? Are you going for like a specific type of, like, let's talk about that. So I think about, I'm out there in the audience, and I'm thinking, okay, are these guys learning 3 fresh songs every week?
I think I've
Did you guys play what? Every Sunday you play at least 3 in the morning.
3-4 songs a week probably.
And usually end with 1.
Yeah.
So usually 4.
Yeah. So, when I was younger, mom traveled around in a gospel quartet. And I heard all that old Southern gospel kind of stuff.
Okay,
right?
give me an example.
Like the barbershop quartets, the four-part harmony.
Yeah.
You got the lead singer, the bass singer, the alto, and the soprano. And you got that old piano, and you're singing hymns,
Yeah.
And so we went all over Ohio in an old green van, and they would sing, and we would set the sound up. And then when we got a little bit older, we started learning instruments and picking instruments. My brother Zach, super talented.
Okay.
Mandolin, lead guitar, and then I picked up the banjo, and we started playing and guitar, and so that's what kind of got me down that road. I would always be the guy that was singing because I couldn't play anything. And so my brother would be like, oh, my buddies are coming over, we're all going to play. And then I'm sitting there in a chair, and they just want me to sing Hootie and the Blowfish or Leonard Skinner.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah. You're reading words. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I want to do more than
When
this.
is this?
Yeah.
How many years ago?
I'm probably 20.
Okay, how old are you now?
So 24 years ago. 25.
You're 44
About
now,
25
right?
years ago.
You're 44?
So my brother's probably 15. I'm driving him back and forth to guitar lessons as part of my gas money from my parents.
So this 2004, you can at least print lyrics at that time.
Correct. Yeah, like guitar tabs or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember Zach playing tabs. I never learned how to play tabs.
I never did either.
Mom would have us, she'd hit the note on the keyboard or the piano,
match it.
and we would try to match it.
Yeah.
That's how we tuned.
David Gillen plays tabs.
That's how we tuned. That's how we did everything.
And I can't.
I couldn't do a tab. The lady down here at the church plays by note, and I play by number. So I'll be like, hey, we're in B flat, and I'll say that's -2 on the keyboard, play it in C. What key is that? I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm playing. Just I know the numbers in my head, and I know how to adjust it.
Yeah.
When I play the piano, I transpose it, and if I can't transpose it, I just play the white keys, which is all C. So if I'm on the keyboard, I'm playing it's in C, 100%.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the keyboard is tuned to an open C?
Yeah, so you can play open. Well, you can play on on the keyboard, you can play any note.
Yeah.
Because they're all there.
Yeah.
But the progressions, like we play on a guitar.
Like a scales.
So G, C, D, E minor. If you're playing a country song, G, C, D, E minor.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Yeah.
Depending on what the song is.
Yeah, or a variation.
Right. So on the piano, same thing. I play progressionally on the piano. I don't play the notes. So I'm keying the bass cliff with my left hand and playing the lead with my right hand.
Okay.
So if they want to play a song in A, I can't play A. So I transpose that piano to -3. And then C is now on A. I don't know what the other notes are, but I know my
You just go down 3 sets.
I know my progressions are the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be like me knowing the scale of G on a guitar and staying in G, but I move it down but if the song's in D, I go and I play the same lick basically, but I'm playing it out of D.
Right. Or if you put the capo on there.
Yeah.
Put the capo on the 4th fret, you're in B. So on the piano, I can't play B.
I thought 4th fret would be C sharp.
If you're in G, 4th fret's capo would be B.
If you're in G.
Right, if you're in G.
Yeah.
So then on the keyboard, I would go -1 and play C.
Hey guys, let's pay some bills here. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Kelly Wiley Group of Keller Williams Excel Realty. I tell you, we all know Kelly and we all know the group down at Kelly Wiley Realty, and I'm telling you, you won't find a better class of people to deal with. A verifiable fact, something that I found very interesting. They are the #1 real estate agency in Southern Ohio, and it doesn't shock me. I tell you, there's 180 different items that a home buyer and a home seller must do whenever you buy or sell a house. The Kelly Wiley team is great at all of them. They will help you out from start to finish. They have some of the most up-to-date processes and systems that you can possibly dream of. You're going to love the whole entire experience. So if I were you, I would give those guys a call at 740-577-3795. That's 740-577-3795. Or you can also look at all of their inventory at kellywileygroup.com. I had to transpose that stuff a lot, and I always pretended the capo was the bar.
The nut. Yeah, the nut at the top.
Yeah,
right.
the nut. So or your bar chord. So if I saw you and you were playing a bar chord C, which was, the 3rd and the 5th, and you were, giving it one of these or however you did it, I knew that I was in C. So then I just look to one. So I know if he plays a bar chord in 3 and he plays an E minor, he's actually hitting a G. So I would work it back off of that. So then if he goes to A, then it's one back.
Ain't it crazy how your mind, you learn, I learned that way. I can't change it. That they'll be like, well, this is a G sharp. I don't know what that is. All I know is that
-2.
I see that number and I transpose it in my head and I play it the way I know how to play it.
So, and it's, so you're basically talking about the Nashville number system.
Exactly.
Which is what a lot of people learn. And that's just the root chord. And then you're always going to be within 5, but you got to find the root.
Right. So I'll give patterns. I'll say, which is the easiest way.
Yeah.
1, 6, 4, 5. That's the song. Nothing changes. So you're going to play over
One's
and over
your root, right?
One. So if you're in the key of G, your 1 is a G.
Yep.
Your 6 is the minor, which is E minor. Your 4 is the C. Your 5 is the D. Never changes. So if I want to change it to A, I just take my capo and move it to the 2nd fret. I'm still 1, 6, 4, 5. The song never changes. It's you go to Nashville and there's a guy sitting there at the piano and he's played for 15 bands.
Yeah.
And you come in there, you're going to say, hey, dude, I'm playing in B flat tonight. And he's going to say, okay. And I'm going to say, you look at him and say, this is the 1. And once you get the 1, the rest of it falls in place.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn a song.
It's all letters and numbers.
So, but yeah, growing up, mom would teach us the basics, and we would travel and play. And then my brother started playing Leonard Skinner, and
ZZ Top and all the rock stuff.
And we would start playing, and it was 2004-ish, 2005-ish. I was 24, 25, and we got into this bluegrass a lot, heavy. We could play the churches still, and we'd do festivals.
Most bluegrass is gospel, really.
Absolutely. So we started traveling around. That's all we did. We 4-man. We did a mandolin, guitar, banjo, and a bass, and we did that for 4 or 5 years probably. Mm-hmm. And then I just got tired of hearing it, man. I really did. I just got tired of hearing that
twangy,
you know.
no drive,
the banjo.
no drums.
I was never super good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, every song sounded the same. The licks were the same. The songs were the same. And so I switched to the guitar, and I started listening to some other type of music, which I'm a 90s guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, Nirvana and Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started kind of going that direction, and my brother kind of stayed in the lane of bluegrass.
Okay.
And so we kind of split up. And then when I got later in the later 20s, I started playing the contemporary worship music.
Mm-hmm.
And I started traveling around and doing that. Had a couple bands that we played live, and played a lot. And so over the years, I've learned, lots of different songs, worship songs, church songs. Still have the hymns in my head. And so I've kind of just mixed them together. So when I took the job down here, what they asked me to do was provide a contemporary style of worship to the Christ Church, which they kind of had a little bit of it, but not maybe to where I was at, which the way I did it. So
you just had a fresher,
more, my style,
probably bigger catalog.
Yeah, my style is different than most. I don't have a tick that I go by, but I try to pick songs based off of what, like the pastor will have like a series.
Yeah.
Like this week or this month is Miracle. So I try to focus on the songs that I have, and then at the same time these people are new and they've never seen me, and they're still kind of getting used to who I am and where I'm at and where I'm from. And so you can't play a new song every week and expect them to be able to sing, because the idea is that I'm going to sing and I want you to sing with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm leading you in worship. I'm not the only one that needs to be singing. So my job is to create an atmosphere where me and you are both singing and worshiping together, right?
Yeah.
And so I've got to the point, I've introduced about 40 songs there over the past 8 months, probably around 40 songs. And so I have like a little bit of a rotation.
So now you can go back.
So now I'm digging back, and then I'm trying to, Taylor especially, he's kind of connected into the younger guys, kind of connected into like maybe the newer stuff that I haven't really even kind of dealt with yet. So we're kind of pulling a little bit from this way, and then I'm still kind of keeping some in the bag. And so we try to create a 3 or 4 song set. And in my mind, my first song I want to be
driving.
I want to get everybody's talking and everybody's excited we're here, and the kids are kind of getting situated, we're getting coffee. That first song, I'm trying to just get everybody's attention. Mm-hmm. And then as I go forward in that set, I'm trying to get it to be more intimate. So when I hit my last note, so my job as a worship leader is to make the atmosphere so that when the pastor preaches, that your heart is prepared to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so his job as the pastor is to preach God's word, and that your heart will be receptive to it, so that you can take what he's saying, apply it to your life, and maybe change something that you need to change. So like if I come in there and I have hurt in my heart, and I'm trying to deal with it in my own way, and I go to church thinking or hoping that I get something from God, and the pastor's got a message that day prepared for how to heal your heart, right? My job as a worship leader is to get your heart ready to hear what he has to say. So my job is not just to play music or just to make it good, which we want it to be good. We want it to be happy and everything.
Won't sound good.
Yeah, perfection. You want it to be as good as you can make it. We're doing it for the right reasons.
Well, it's a house sound, really. I was thinking about that. I talk to Taylor all the time, and I was telling him today, like his drum set, it's got a short in it. And I was blaming him for that.
Yeah, it's got a little catch in it.
It does, yeah. And I thought it was Taylor. I did. I was like, well, Taylor's, he's fairly rookie at this. Well, then Clay, who I know's been drumming for 20 years, then he played last Sunday, and it didn't do that. And I was like, Oh, or no, it did do that. It cut out a few times, and I was like, okay, well, then it's not just Taylor. It's
He texted me after church, and he's like, "Hey, man, that drum set's missing something." And I was like,
it clips.
There's I guess there's a
box,
a program app that you have to do an update, and we haven't done it yet.
It's got a bad cord, I think.
But yeah, the idea is that we uplift you. You know, my job is to make you feel uplifted and happy.
You're a really good front man.
And then bring it down to a spiritual aspect where you are prepared to listen to what God has for you that day. That's my job. If I'm not doing that, you know, then I'm not doing my job. So we kind of go from here and try to bring it down to where it's more intimate. Like, that's why those last few songs maybe are a little more emotional.
Yeah.
To where, okay, my mind's right. The kids are at kids' church.
Mm-hmm.
The moving's done. You know, we've already drank our coffee. We're focusing and we're listening. And now this song is to prepare your heart and say, hey man, I'm connected now, and I'm gonna listen to what you have to say. And then that should be the goal, is to have your heart and your mind centered on, okay, God's word is about to be opened, and you're gonna take in what he says. And we all got to apply it to our life and then go out in the world and try to apply it to the way we live daily, day to day. So yeah, that's, and I've honed that skill over a long period of time. Scott Kazee, I don't know if you know, do you know Scott?
I know the name, and I'm sure I've seen him, but I can't place him.
Scott's a talented,
I've heard that.
Very talented. He can
does keys, everything.
Yeah, he can take two blades of grass and make it sound like heavenly music. But when I was in my early 20s, he kind of took me in, and he was like, you're not at your capacity. You're not where he created the style of worship that I lead today. He created the musician that I am. He opened up my mind to, it's not just, dun, 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 it's not just that lick that you've played for 50, seems like 50 years. So he kind of opened my mind to that, and he helped me be able to be that leader, that I am. And so I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it. I'm in the same, I might be in the same situation. I've played for a long time. I would really, and I've been begging, we need some young people, who want to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
I could go to Rowdy's or, down here and pick out 15 songs and just hone in on those and make the crowd cheer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I like doing that. But in the time of life I'm in now, this is where I feel like,
you need to be.
I'm at my best, and I enjoy it. And I'm trying to do what I feel like I need to do. And so, that's the music venture for me.
Yeah, it's I can definitely tell that you try to get everybody, feeling good, and it is, and I haven't been to a lot of churches in my life. I've been to a few, but I haven't been to a lot of them. You've been to a lot of churches, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been thrown out of some.
Have you? And, every church has a different way of doing it. Some are some, and I don't know, you call it contemporary music. I still call it, I just call it church music. Now there is a difference between your music and the hymns.
Yeah.
And the main thing is you have one organ in the hymns versus contemporary Christian music, you have a full band.
Yeah. Full band.
But, with the hymns, you don't have a full band, but you've got a full choir section.
Right.
So it's still a full sound.
Absolutely.
And I still do enjoy that some, but I can definitely tell, that you guys have made an impact down there with what you're doing music-wise at the church. I mean, I think he's got his finger on the pulse, so do you. And I mean, man, you've got some, his wife, that week I ran sound, I finally cranked her up. You could probably hear it.
Yeah, I could. I told her, I said, that's how a microphone is supposed to sound.
Yeah. And she's got a beautiful voice. And there was another girl that sings down there. I've only heard her a time or two. She's been with you.
She's from Kentucky, or she's from West Virginia. So she travels some, plays with us some, but she's works full time. And
who's the other guitar player?
His name is Daniel Kazee, Keesee. He's from down in Ray. I met him up here at the street fair. Super talented.
Yeah, he's good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's a nice touch. You know, it's nice to have that lead, especially whenever you're not on keys.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you don't have a lead player or a key player.
He's a full-time musician. That's all he does. He plays different places, plays for himself, does recordings.
Okay.
Travis Elder, you know, which he played for Crossroads Station.
I don't know him.
The other drummer at the church.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
Travis.
He came in.
He's from Chillicothe, and that's what he does full time. Just plays tracks, and so he switches back and forth with Taylor. But I love Taylor, and I love playing with him. But Clay's my guy, man.
Yeah.
I could go. Me and Clay could go anywhere today.
I could tell you guys were gelling Sunday.
Yeah, we could go anywhere, any scenario, and he would follow.
Yeah.
When you've played that much with somebody, he just goes where I go.
I would watch Clay, and he was just feeling you out.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, if you don't play with somebody enough if you don't play with somebody enough to know how to feel them out, and you just do your thing.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to get that to blend.
Taylor's taught me a lot because he's more of a structured guy, and when he's playing, it's very structured, and it makes me
crazy.
Has to be. It makes me crazy. It makes me better. It forces me
to get out of your box.
And Scott used to tell me that all the time. He's like, you know, you're better than what you're showing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm comfortable, right? We like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So, like, he takes me out of my comfort zone, and he makes me sing songs, or maybe in keys that I'm not normally comfortable in, or he makes me, you know, more structured. It makes me a better guitar player.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now with Clay, I just get to be myself.
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Well, we played. It was years ago, but me and him and Emily, we played at some exotic farm out in Wilkesville.
Okay.
And there was tigers. And
does Emily sing or something?
No, she just with us.
Oh, okay.
And we're all sitting there, and there's like 2 tigers on his side and a bear over here, and we're in the middle of this field, and Clay's over there playing the box, and I'm singing. We're playing Elton John, and we're going from one song to the other, and we're in the middle of the woods. We've been in a lot of different places and played a lot of different songs. But
hey guys, while we're paying the bills, let's talk about one of our oldest sponsors that's been with us since the beginning. Geiger Brothers. Geiger Brothers is headquartered in Jackson, Ohio, with offices in Columbus, Ohio, and Knoxville, Tennessee. We provide construction services in Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Tennessee. A veteran and dynamic staff of talented people, symbolic of our 100-year history of success, gives Geiger Brothers a distinct advantage. Leveraging that experience for our customers allows us the ability to provide consistent and superior performance for their construction, engineering, and fabrication needs. And hey, we've had several of these guys on our shows. Scott Massey, Kyle Hickey, Shay Meredith, just to name a few. Go back, look through some of the old episodes and get to know them. It's a great group of people that have been with us for a long time, and we certainly appreciate it. So enjoy tonight's show, courtesy of Geiger Brothers here in Jackson.
So whenever you're like now, you're with the Methodist Church, right?
Well, they're disassociated with the Methodists. I think they're just an independent Christ Church. It's global Methodist.
But they're still practicing the Methodist book or the Methodist denomination.
Yeah, so the denominations are all, you know, we could spend 10 days talking about that. The traditional Methodist was, I think, believe what they were. And then they had a disassociation, meaning they separated. And for a while, they were kind of just independent. And Pastor Tim, if I'm wrong, you can correct me when Pudge brings you in here someday. But I think they joined with the Global Methodist, which is like a different offset of the Methodist Church.
Okay.
And so, they're a little more traditional than what I'm used to.
They're pretty traditional.
Where I came from, the last church that I was at was World Outreach, which is Pastor Rob Irvin. And
good dude.
It's more of a, just independent, that no association, And so growing up, I was old, my mom was old fashioned. She didn't wear pants until I was probably 30 years old.
Okay.
the church
you
that
guys charismatic or apostolic?
Just old-fashioned holiness. Buns in the hair and long sleeves and long dresses. And so growing up, we didn't play anything.
Out of line.
Yeah, it was either in the book or it wasn't in the book.
It was either in the book or not getting played.
Yeah. So I remember the first time she went and come and heard me when we were playing out live. She would just hug me and tell me it was good. But as everything else goes, time moves things and people evolve and change and so she loves coming to hear us play, but it's just definitely not her style.
Yeah. Well, I still think, it's as traditional, I think, as you need to be in 2024. That service is. Because we did go to the traditional service, and I feel like the contemporary is even still traditional compared to a lot of denominations.
It is. And I think that's the goal, and I think that's their goal, is to kind of create an atmosphere where there's a little more freedom, and still have and still preserve,
the morals behind
their
it,
traditional
or the beliefs
style.
behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody, they've got a full snack bar set up and coffee, and it is kind of like a seminar.
Yeah,
setting. Not a. I guess you could go to a seminar, and if it was in a church, you'd say, well, it's a church setting. Well, this one where it's in the gym, it's kind of it's more of a seminar setting than it is a church setting.
And I think a lot of younger people, respond to that more. You got kids, and
you've got a lot of like Gibson's age kids.
Yeah,
you've got more than we did, I think. But
and without them, eventually,
kicker is keeping them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everybody's needing is for you to keep them in there. But no, I think you guys do a great job, man. I enjoy listening to it. It's been good for me just to sit back and listen, repeatedly like that to people. That way, obviously I can go to shows and hear different things, but to hear what you guys do every week, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, man, they're kicking out 3 or 4 new songs every week. That's not kindergarten right there. To get it, anybody can sit down and learn 3 or 4 songs a week, but can you get 4 or 5 of you to, and then come back in on Sunday and have it right?
Yeah. And the problem is in order to be good, you got to practice, and everybody's so busy.
Sure.
Life is busy, and
even if you practice at home, you still need a few hours to practice. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That we got the new track program, where we play with the tracks. And so you can practice with them, but you can't practice leading people. You know what I mean? You got to be there. You got to get the people. You got to get everybody on stage. You got to run through them songs, and you can't miss anything.
Yep.
And so it does take practice, and it takes dedication. And I'm enjoying myself right now, and I want to continue to do it and help grow it. I'd like to have some younger people. I'd like to get more people involved. I'd like to have some more musicians and get some things rolling, and I'd like to be where I didn't have to do everything. Yeah, and so
that's tough.
It is, and there's a lot of talented people, but time is something that a lot of us, growing up, we were always forced to go. We didn't have a choice. And now that I'm older and I have kids, I choose to go, and I choose to be there. And some folks ain't there yet.
Yeah.
But eventually, hopefully they'll get some people that are that choose and wanna play. And there's a lot of good churches in the community. There's a lot of good musicians, a lot of good worship. World Outreach has fantastic music. Elevate, Dave. They kill it.
I'm not going to give Dave any credit. I'll give it to Joni.
They kill it every week.
I'll give all of it to
and
Joni.
I'm sure there's more that I'm missing.
Well, I wanted to talk about this too. So you also go out and you've been playing like our boy Trent Fannin, the highest viewed YouTube Chubby Guys podcast that we had.
Who was that?
Trent Fannin.
I don't know who he is.
Owns Roast Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't know him?
I don't. No.
Well, you play over there at Roast all the time.
Yeah, that's they call that the Heart of David. That's through Open Door Church, and I think that's where I know of Trent. I'd never met him.
Oh, okay. I figured you guys were buddies.
No, never met him. I know who he is.
Okay.
Now that you've mentioned it, I've ran into him. We've spoke, but he opens that up on Monday nights, every Monday night at 7 p.m. and they have a different band in there every Monday night at 7, and they play for an hour. And that's through Mark Piper's church at Open Door in Chillicothe. I think that's where the Onderos and some of the people here locally go. I think the Witts, Brandon, and some of his family.
What about Taylor's brother Christian and him? Mariah.
They go to. I think they go to Center Point, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of
Mariah can flat belt it.
Absolutely. I like to steal her.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That I had that kind of talent in the family.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, we go over there and play roasts. I probably play every once a quarter.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
And then you've played down here at these sidewalk things a few times.
Yeah, Josie Rader. She invites us out.
Tell me about Faith and Fitness. What is that tied to? Like,
that's Josie's baby.
She owns it.
Yeah, she's opened that up. I think she's in Wellston. I believe she's in Waverly. I don't know exactly all the details, but that's her baby.
Okay.
And then I think she's just involved in the community here.
Oh yeah, she's in
doing better business stuff with Brian Leach and all them.
Yep.
And so I think her goal was just to have live music, which is where I met Daniel at.
Yeah.
Playing on the street corner up there. We played at the Spot. Paul Hogue and some of his guys, and I think his son and Jordan. Is it
Lombardo?
Yeah.
Oh, talented.
So those guys play. We've played with them a few times, and then Dave and them guys, they have like the worship nights and stuff where we've kind of played out a little bit. They used to have the thing in the park.
He's not doing that anymore?
I think they did it last year. Okay. The Rock Church did it.
Okay. Yeah, that was Marty and David.
Marty.
Yeah. Yep. Marty's an exceptional bass player.
I like playing when he's playing. He played bass. We had I think the Diner place in Wellston. They had an opening night or something. It's closed now, but we went down there and played, and I got stuck Marty on the bass. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, he's slick. Oh yeah, I saw that online.
Yeah.
So that probably helps to bring in people to those places because those are all religiously based.
Yeah,
all those shows are. That Open Door Ministry through Trent or through Rose. That is Josie's Faith and Fitness.
Yeah. Well, the community based thing that Josie's doing is not faith based, but
well, she's Faith and Fitness. You about have to.
Well, I mean, like when we play in the street corner, I think she's just promoting it. Well, she
as
doesn't
live
really,
music.
Yeah, she doesn't really give us any parameters where we have what we can't play. That's just the style that I choose to play. But I like Daniel plays a lot of classical music, and he writes his own music and plays a lot of that stuff. But yeah,
good. You get paid for any of these gigs?
No, dude. Yeah. If I got paid to play, why would I be a sheriff's deputy? That's
true, man. That was a big thing, and there's why I got out playing the bars, because I know. I mean, I had a bar for a while. They can't really afford to pay you. You got to sell a lot of drinks at $2 a piece. To make enough money, because you got $1 in it, right? So I mean, they're only making $1 a beer, $1.20 a beer, and so you got to sell a ton of those to be able to pay a guy decent wages or pay a band $800,000, right? You got to sell a lot of those.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to take the time away from my family to play all the time, now, what you're doing is I'm intrigued by it, because what you're doing is typically through the week, you're typically done by 7 or 8 o'clock at night. On Sundays you're done by 11, and you're getting your musical or your frontman itch scratched up there at church, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be gone from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. and miss out on my Friday nights and my Saturday nights or my Thursday nights, and I won't pay for it.
Yeah.
And that was where I decided that I was like, okay, this just doesn't make much sense to keep doing anymore.
Yeah. We very seldom get paid. I mean, there would be times where, we would get $60, and by the time you buy, I usually would take the guys somewhere to eat, and we would spend the money on food.
Yeah.
And I try to, if I get a little bit of money, I try to spread it out. Most of the time, honestly, we donate it. We'll give it whatever you're playing. If you're playing something, you just give it back. I love to play. I love to sing. I love to be a part of that. Like you said, I get to get that out of my system. But like people like for all those years, like Bart playing and doing his thing, and it had to have been tough. Had to have been tough.
I mean, that's what happens.
Because you go to those places,
it's rough life, man.
you go to those places and you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. And how do you turn down a benefit for somebody that, in the community that you want to support? You end up playing 2 hours and you don't have anything in it. You don't get anything out of it other than just trying to be helpful.
Oh man, you'd be exhausted, especially like this time of year. A lot of times you'd have to be double booked. You'd play a gig at Saturday afternoon, and boom, your Saturday night.
Oh yeah, we used to do the fairs back in the day. They don't do much of that anymore, but there have been times where we played a benefit at noon. We go over and play somewhere at 2:00, and then you got to play the Relay for Life at the fairgrounds from 7 to 10.
Yeah.
And then, I love to play, but it will wear you out.
And it's work.
People think, they're here. But we brought 3 vehicles, 8 people. We got to set our gear
speakers.
up.
Yeah.
I used to have an old Toyota 4Runner, and dude, I had it figured out. There was only one way to get all my gear in it. And if anybody else tried to help me, I might as well just take it all out and put it back in.
Yep.
But after the years and years, Ron Sowers used to drum for me.
Okay.
The bearded pup in Wellston. And you guys had him on.
Oh, yeah.
You had Ron. Ron played drums for me for years. And me and him had this specific way to get things loaded in and loaded out. We played the fireworks show in Chillicothe over at the, they have an amphitheater on 104. You're going towards the prisons. There's a church over there. They got a big amphitheater. And we played that for, 4 or 5 years, probably the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of. There was probably 8,000, 6,000, it was the whole hillside, and they weren't there to hear us, but they could hear us, what I mean? So that counts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you count it. Put that in the ticker.
That's where I met Holly Miller, which she was on American Idol. She sang with us there a few times. She's from Chillicothe, and that's where I met Dill Stolley.
He's been on the show.
And so he's played with me there a few times.
He got talented. He fooled around and got real talented.
When I first met him, dude, he was up there plucking around, man. And so I started chatting it up with him, and his dad was like, hey, he really needs, so we started taking him places.
Yep.
And dude,
I'm proud of that guy, man.
Dude, his hair got past his belt, man, and he turned into some kind of monster, dude. He can tear it up.
He can. Whenever I first met him, I think I met him kayaking. And he was like, hey, you're a Chubby bartender. And I was like, yeah, I am. And this was like 2020, right? This was like as soon as we started doing it.
Was he working over there?
For Jennifer?
Yeah.
Jennifer Blake at the Salt Creek thing? And I was like, and I was like, yeah, man. And he goes, hey, man, I'm Dylan Stolley. And he introduced me. And so the next thing I know, we're Facebook friends. And I see that he's playing. Well, I had the bar at the time, and I had him come down, and I mean, he could pluck around, and he wasn't as good as he is now, but he was just starting to get up and down the neck a little bit. And boy, now, wow, you can tell that Nashville's taught him.
Oh, dude, he's solid.
He's solid now. He's fun to listen to.
So every once in a while, he'll send me a picture. So that 40th anniversary telly he plays is mine.
Okay.
So I bought that, traded it. I don't know how I ended up with it, but it was a nice guitar.
Yeah,
really nice.
The Sunburst one, cherry?
No, it's maroon.
Okay, I thought it was like red or
it's all maroon, like dark maroon. It's a 40th anniversary.
Hey, guys, we got to pay the bills. Let's talk about AP Prep and how you look them up at apprep.info. You go in there. If you got a child and they need performance training, that's one of the things that they offer. And it's simple. Their performance training, it drives their athletes to seize full genetic potential. And first of all, they're going to assess your kids' overall balance, their mobility, their hand-eye coordination, their foot speed, understand all their body mechanics, their output, their strength, everything. Look them up, apprep.info. All the info's there. You'll see it. Then they got a boxing class for the adults. It's $10, or you can join by the month. These workouts, you can burn up to 1,000 calories an hour. So, guys, you can't beat it. Look it up. I know it's a drive over there. It's a good time for you and your kid. You'll love it. Do some good bonding time. apprep.info. Look them up.
And him and his dad, his dad and I are friends. He's a pastor in Richmondale. And Dylan got a scholarship to go out to California to the Bethel School of Worship and learn how to basically be a worship leader.
Okay.
And so his dad was talking to me, and he was like, man, because he had an old, it was just, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was It was some off-brand Chinese version.
Yeah.
And his dad was like, hey, what should we do? And I was coming home that night, and I was like, I can't play this thing. It's not any count. It's just sitting in my closet. And so it was Christmas. It was Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve. I called him. He come over to the house, and I give him that telly. I said, just take this, man. Take it out there with you. I said, it's yours. And so now every once in a while, he'll send me a picture of it holding it. And I'm like, yeah, at least something of mine made it to Nashville and is getting tore up down there. So
he's tearing it up.
I'm proud of him. I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, he got real good. He got real good.
Yeah, so he needs to get picked up. That's why I told him. I was like, dude, you need to go play for somebody. And
He needs to just go live on the road with somebody. Now, you say that, and then I've had a lot of buddies, Donnelly, for example. Donnelly's been down there 18 years, and I mean, he's touring with the biggest of the best. He's Hardy and all those guys. And Donnelly's wrote 3 or 4 songs on Hardy's records, and he's been down there 18 as a songwriter. He never left and went with anybody. I had another buddy, Lewis Copeland, that was out of Waverly, and he went down there. He fronted all of his own shows, and he was the headliner down there at all the big bars on Saturday night. He headlined on Saturday night, which is kind of like a pecking order down there. A lot of guys can go down there and play at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon all the way up and down the street.
Kind of like Tootsie's. You start at the top, and whoever.
Well, it's Legends. It actually starts down at the one end of the street, and after you get done at Legends, they say that your next step is Bridgestone Arena, because that's what's right next to Legends.
Right.
Now that was back old Nashville. Like before the 3-story, Blake Shelton bars and Old Red and Jason Aldean, Miranda Lambert. That town is kind of just flipped on its top. But back 20 years ago when we all went, it was you just worked your way up the street. And Lewis was the front man at all those, and then his career kind of fizzled out. If you don't get a number one, it kind of fizzles out. But if you're going to be down there, and you want to be around great musicians, you need to at least get your resume to the point that they know that you can go out on the road for 4 months and handle yourself. I've had several buddies come through. My buddy Johnny Stanton, he's came through a couple times with like Trent Tomlinson and guys at the Apple Festival, and now he's been playing with the Steelwoods. Paul Sanders, who was playing down there, now he came through here with Shenandoah. I met him 20 years ago down in Nashville.
Gotcha.
And he just came through a couple years ago with Shenandoah and was gigging with them. And they just, they pick up a solid gig. It's a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's more about the money. They can go out in 6 months and make, $30,000-$40,000 and come back home and be done. Then go play around town, chum around, make their money whenever they need to. So it's just, it's whatever he wants to do. You're not going to make it here.
Yeah. Not unless you
ain't.
I mean, yeah. I don't know the avenue that you would have locally here.
None. If guys like Bart and them can't make it down here, because Bart was super talented. Jordan Lombardo, my goodness, the talent that boy has is unreal.
If I always said, in order to make it, you had to be able to sing better than most, play better than most, and be able to do it.
Look better than most.
Together better than most.
Yep.
And I said, if I could have taken my brother's music ability and my vocal ability, I could have, I maybe could have been better, did better. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of lacking. I could kill this song singing it, but I couldn't play it. Yeah. So I depended on somebody else to play it the way that it needed to be played to make it the best. And so that's why, I like doing what I'm doing.
You heard Shane Runyon? He's a buddy of mine from Portsmouth, and he kind of same way. He had some top 100 songs. Really good, like just exceptional guitar player. Just burn one up. Can play a little bit of keys, can play a little bit of everything. Doesn't matter what you ask him to sing. He can sing it. How like even with me, like you get into like Mr. Big and To Be With You, them old 80s songs and stuff. Some of them I'm really reaching on to the point that don't do them. Right? Well, those good guys, they can sing no matter what you put in front of them, they'll sing it. Yeah. That's the difference, and that's the way Shane was. And I mean he made it to that next level, I would say. You're right though. I don't see how you're ever going to make it here. There's just not enough. There's no music venues, and it's kind of almost died off again. You know, maybe it's just where I'm not around it, but you don't hear a lot of bands play. You don't hear a lot of music playing.
I used to get called a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, can you do this? Or hey, can you play here?
They're not even doing it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, I mean, if you're not in that, we used to have a circuit. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, you could get about 20 gigs a year and just keep them in constant flow.
If you had a person that you could connect with, and once you were one place, you kind of, those other 4 places. Now, Chillicothe has kind of a little bit of that. Zach McFadden, a good friend of mine, he plays a lot. He real unique voice and plays acoustic by himself, just him and his vocals. And he kind of is in that little circuit, you know, over there. They play the Brass Monkey, and then they play the
Patrick's Pub.
Yeah, the pub, and then they play was it Shriners and Steiner's, and there's 4 or 5 different places, and you kind of get in that rotation. You make a couple $100.
Yeah.
But he's a full-time nurse.
Yeah, go buy yourself a guitar or speaker at the end of the year.
We do it because we enjoy it and we love it.
In the gear.
You know what I mean? But you're not going to make it, even in Chillicothe, as much as they have over there. That rotation is not big enough. And that's even as an individual with no band.
Yeah.
Like if you had a band, there's no way.
No way.
No.
Too many moving parts.
Yep. Especially with drummers, you know, they expect so much.
They're all prima donnas.
they expect so much cash. Clay Newman, I mean, just like, where's my cut? Where's my cut, dog?
He's all business.
Yeah, it's all business.
I'm going to get him out tomorrow and let him ride a bike.
Yeah, I tell you what, Newman's got this new company, right?
Yeah, he does.
And so I told him, I said, this is what you need to do. I said, eventually, you're going to need somebody in your business that's just a hype man.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to come in the morning. They're going to harass all the guys, get them excited for the day, pat them on the back, take people out for golf, different things. I said, that's when you're rich, man, when you get there, when this company is here, I said, that's my job.
Or security.
Yeah, security. I could stand at the front door.
Make sure everybody's wearing a badge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can see you in a booth and a guitar.
Someday I'm going to be, that's my retirement gig.
For Clay?
Yeah, hype man at Clay Newman's business. Yeah, I'm coming.
He does a pretty good job on his own. He led a meeting the other day, and he did pretty daggone good.
He's something, man.
The guy can do it all.
He's a smart guy.
He is. Yeah.
If I have a question that I'm like, man, what should I do? Money, anything that has to do with, okay, Jesse, you need to make a smart decision. You know?
Yeah.
He's one of my first 3 or 4 calls.
Yeah. He helped me design the kitchen at Stockroom, and I mean, you know, I could tell then he was just very fundamentally logical. He had it all. Like, you know, there was he wasn't fluffing anything. He was just
when I went through the police academy, I knew I was an older guy.
Was you?
And I knew I had to get in shape, right? And so Clay and Brandon Stevens met me at the gym every morning at 5 a.m. every morning.
Got you in shape. And
worked me over. You know, I had to run 1.5 miles, which I was a runner growing up. You know, ran in high school and I was pretty decent distance runner. But I had to run 1.5 miles in 11.5 minutes, 36 push-ups in a minute, which doesn't seem like a lot till you get to about 32. 27 push-ups in a minute, and I was out of shape, and I'd been working construction, running a jackhammer, and I mean, I was, you know, wasn't in bad shape, but I wasn't in fit shape, and so they really helped me get me over the edge so I could get in there and pass it. But yeah, that dedication, sometimes, you know, you need somebody like Clay in your corner who will literally drive to your house and put you in the car and be like, all right, man, it's 5 o'clock. We got to go.
Got to go. So, he's up every day, dude. He does 7 miles before 5:30 in the morning.
I can't imagine.
It's like, when do you sleep, Clay?
Yeah.
When do you sleep?
I couldn't run 7 miles. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't want to do it every day.
No, and he does it just for breakfast.
Yeah, it's unreal. Those guys, Matt Jenkins and them guys, they just run.
Deers.
You see them. You see them all the time. Like I'm in my cruiser driving around. I'm like, what is that? Oh, that's Matt and what's his name down here? Hose Apple.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, where did you come from?
Sprinting down the street.
Yeah, this is our 28th mile or whatever.
Yeah. Just getting in a quick 24 work, bud.
Yeah. I'm not into that.
Yeah. Got anything else, Jesse?
Nah, man, I'm
That's
good.
an hour, bud. You
Is
did
that
good. That's an hour.
I could talk forever, man.
You tell Emily you did better than she did.
I don't need any encouragement to talk, man. I can talk.
We had to
forever.
pull it out of her.
Oh, yeah.
So hey, if you want to hear Jesse Reynolds, go down to is it Global Christchurch,
Jackson, Ohio.
It's right beside the police station. You
Yep.
can't miss it. It's used to be the Christ United Methodist, and we don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
now,
it's
but
Christchurch. That's all I know.
Christchurch. So
10:15. We'd love to have you down
10:15 on
Sounds good.
Sundays. You got Taylor Stepp is in that bunch. All kinds of people that you guys would know that's been on the pod. So hey, look those guys up. Get on their Facebook page if you want to. You can even tune in on their Facebook page on Sundays. So look them up.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you.
Later.